We are in, and everyone in this room is directly involved in what I think is one of the biggest changes in the human species in many, many years. And that is the virtualization of the world. Now, virtualization, of course, has always had kind of a specific technical meaning in the IT world. I use it in this context to say that even more of how we shop, how we learn, how we work, how we meet our mates is going to go into the cybersphere. We are going to be surprised by the early 20s how much exists in the cybersphere. Quite literally, the challenge then will be figuring out how best to connect between the virtual world and the real world. Because what we're doing is building another world. We are building a thin layer of intelligence, software, data that sits on top of the physical world. It's probably the biggest human evolution, I think, in terms of structure since the invention of cities 5,000 years ago, which was also driven by technology. And we ended up living in cities, not our ancestral villages, and had to all of a sudden think of everything from new rules, like how do you live next door to someone you're not related to basic business models. Where does the food come from? How do you get the food into the city? We're doing that same kind of change as significant, only we're doing it in about a decade. To set the scene, by the end of the 20s, probably well before that, we will always be connected to the internet all of the time, either through our devices or through the objects around us. In fact, there'll probably come a point at some point in a kid's life in the 20s, maybe when they're 5 or 6, when we have to teach them what offline means. Online will be the normal state of things. The world will work much better when everything's online. In fact, some people will be more worried about losing their internet connection than losing electricity. Because, you know, if you lose electricity, most of your devices are battery powered and you can kind of wait it out. Lose the internet and half of your world goes dark.